Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're here for the final week of the SPL. Joining alongside me today is Mr. HiRezAdanas. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. We have a great final week, and we have most of it's all been decided. The relegated teams are already relegated, but we still have 2 spots open for LAN.
2 spots open for LAN, and some of those teams will be competing this weekend, obviously, to decide who goes there and in what actual order they're all going to actually be in as well, because that's going to actually really determine things going forward.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting here. There's some great matchups, though, and I'm pretty excited. I think Sunday's going to be our biggest game, or biggest day overall, though.
Well, all the games over the weekend are going to be huge, hopefully. I mean, we're going to see some of the games where we're going to see teams play against each other just for, like, bragging rights to an extent.
Yeah, like the 4th, 5th, 6th seeds are all still up for contention. All of those are in and out so far.
Well, talking about that, let's look at the schedule going forward now. It should be coming up on your screen, and you'll see today it will be Epsilon versus Team Dignitas, followed by Team Eager up against Cognitive. And on June 27th, what we got?
We've got Upcoming Stars taking on Night's Watch, Enemy Esports taking on Legion of Carrots. But then the big game on Saturday, June 27th, is going to be Cloud9 versus AFK for the first seed in North America. They're going to get that bye, but it's going to be here live at LAN.
That's right. They will be playing here at the studio as well. Hopefully today as well, we may actually see some of them do a bit of commentary for us as well.
Ooh, okay.
And then going into June 28th as well, we will see Titan up against Fnatic that could potentially make or break who gets first or second seed, dependent on how it's going to be. However, there's also going to be London Conspiracy up against Trig, which is for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, those are the big ones. And the same with Denial versus Team Solo Mid. Both of those teams, the final 2 games of the summer split are going to be for LAN.
It wasn't rigged. It was just, this is how it fell. These 2 teams. I
have no idea.
Let's have a look at the EU standings, though, to work out why and who is in contention for this. And top of the shop, you can see Titan and Fnatic have qualified.
Yep, and then Trig actually has been renamed. I don't think we've touched on that yet.
Nope.
Today, Trig Esports has now broken off. They're still sponsored by Trig, but they're now under the Paradigm name, and that's actually owned by Zimstar, the former player, now coach and manager for the team. And they're going to be facing off against that London Conspiracy team. Both are 8-4. Both are tied, so it's not like North America where it's like one team has to win 2 games. There could be a tiebreaker match.
Well, talking about EU there, you could see the standings, and we're just going to talk about the first game that's going to be coming up later today, actually quite shortly, which will be Epsilon up against Team Dignitas. Now, this game's between the 2. Who are you feeling?
So 2 big roster, not changes or swaps, but Youngbay is no longer on Team Dignitas. He's not there. I'm not sure if they have a sub in, if it's just Barn or if they filled that spot yet. But additionally, iRaffer is back from his ban for this final week. They can't qualify for LAN, but they definitely want to make a statement saying they're still here. They're still a top team that could have made LAN if Raffer was with them.
That's a very good point. I mean, talking about Team Dignitas, Youngbay change. Youngbay has parted ways with Team Dignitas. For whatever reason, we're not 100% sure. But let's have a look at Team Dignitas themselves. They've not had the greatest performance all season long. And you can see there, we've got a blank at the moment.
Okay. So, yeah, but that's Barn. So Barn will be playing for them. And he actually subbed in for them last week as well when Variety couldn't make game 1. And he didn't do bad, but it's also Soul. And he played Shock. He was against Zalia. He didn't do so well early lane, but he seemed fine. It's a matter of, is that also going to translate to the ADC
How
role?
he's going to fit into the game as the game goes on towards the late stages, and whether the boys of Dignitas can do things. But, I mean, with that, let's talk about Epsilon. Epsilon themselves, they've had a few issues. Rafa got banned. They brought in a sub. It's not worked out very well for them. But then, you know, what's the difference is going to be?
So I really like this Epsilon team coming in. I actually picked them for a spot at LAN, and I really thought that Epsilon could have made it. I really thought Epsilon could have made it, but unfortunately with the Raffer ban, they took a couple losses and they weren't able to work it out. They're going to have a hard time matching up against Dignitas, I think. Because Raffer he was not just banned from competitive, he was banned from play. And his account was just unbanned late last night, which means they haven't had too much practice with Raffer. They've been Rafferless for over 2 weeks now.
Well, we saw Dignitas in their prime then on screen, and they did very well for themselves. However, I mean, with the loss of Youngbay now and Raffer coming back, it should be Epsilon's game to an extent. I mean, that's how I'm feeling.
That's how I'm feeling as well. I think the picks are probably going to reflect that as well. Epsilon was still the strong team, I think. I think they were favored even if Youngbay was still there. And with Youngbay gone now, I think it's going to be a rough look for Dignitas.
Well, it's going to be difficult for them going into it. But now, up against Epsilon with Rafa back, let's have a little look at their profile of the whole team roster for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're back, and the Emilito Raffer lane are probably going to be looking for blood. You actually mentioned this. We were talking about it before we got up here. Is that Barn is going to be abused, or he's going to be attempted to be abused by Emilito and
I expect
Raffer.
that's what Raffer and Emilito will come straight out of the gates and try and do. Abuse the duo lane, abuse the fact that the partnership won't be there between Bard and Frezzy as much, and then really just try and snowball the game from there. If you can get the support and the Hunter ahead early, it just transitions for faster mid-camps, faster goal furies, in my opinion. So I think that's where we really need to watch out between these two teams.
And, you know, some of Dignitas has, I don't want to say gotten better. I mean, last split they were relegated. But then we expanded teams, and they're still in the same spot. They're at the 6th place. While they're not going to be relegated because the league has been expanded, they can't even break the middle ground.
Well, they're struggling. They're really struggling. But, I mean, Epsilon, let's have a little look at the picks between this. It looks like everybody has pretty much gone one way.
Yeah, it's all Epsilon. And that's actually surprising. I believe, though, that the season ticket holders picked Dignitas. I'm not sure if we have that graphic on screen.
I'm not sure if they did.
All of our analysts picked Epsilon.
Yeah, it is correct. It is correct. Just come through from production. All the viewers at home chose Dignitas to win this one.
I'm surprised about that.
I think this is probably because people haven't looked at the Dig roster changes and Rafa coming back.
That's true. They might have all gone through before that happened.
So there's the graphics on your screen. You can see Dignitas was voted there. But everybody else, all of us at home, all of us here have all voted for Epsilon because we don't expect it to go any other way, really.
No. But we have a North American match too, and that's going to be pretty interesting. COG is already relegated. They're facing up against Eager. Eager's really battling to not have a losing record.
That's true. Well, let's have a little look at Eager first of all up on your screens. This is the roster for Eager. You've seen them all weekend long as well. It's been going well for them. I think what they're really trying to do, honestly, Adonis, is make things like this is their first season in the Pro League to an extent. They're trying to find their ground right now.
They are, and they've had a couple roster swaps, or actually a singular roster swap. Aurora is now gone. Instead, they've brought in Polar Bear Mike. And one thing I want to stress about Team Eager is the vision they've put out as a team. They're actually the most in warding, and that's even with Zapman having the lowest wards of any hunter outside of, I think, Shaggy Shag and Panda Cat.
Well, I mean, they did replace Aurora this season as well, and they've brought in Polar Bear Mike. Polar Bear Mike's done great work since he's been there, where everyone expected it to be sort of an issue for them with the support change, but Polar Bear seems to be fitting in nicely with the composition of Eager. I'm really happy to see how they've done so far this season. I think a lot of people want them to do more than they did, though.
I think so, too, and that's the thing about their team right now. They're 5-7, and this was the team that everyone was talking about, are they going to be 4th place?
Yeah.
Is it going to be them, Denial, or Legion really for 4th place? And Denial has proven that they're the stronger team of those three. However, Eager can still have a chance to match Denial's record if they're able to win out and then Team Solo Mid wins tomorrow. And that's the thing. Eager wants to finish the summer split without a losing season, which is very strong. I mean, you look at it, they were challengers last split. They come in, and if they can come in with an even record in their first split with a support change midway through, I think that's a pretty good look.
Now, they're going to be up against Cognitive in this one. So we're saying they're looking to not get a losing profile. Cognitive haven't had the greatest season so far. In fairness, they've only defeated Enemy so far, I believe. And in doing so, I mean, everyone's defeated Enemy up to now.
Hey, what about Okay, Enemy haven't won a game yet.
Nope. Enemy have not won a game. And like Cognitive is taking games off them, but they've not taken one off anybody else either. And now they're going to actually see, let's see Cognitive on your screens right now. This is the team lineup they have. They've had a few changes themselves.
They've had a lot of changes. They've had the most changes of any team, I believe. They've brought in Homie FA after Mask was released from the game. We'll leave it at that. They've brought in Bickham as well. They moved Homie to solo. They switched Heroin and Meerkat lanes. They've had all these swaps, and nothing has worked out at all for them. It seems that this is the lineup they want to go with moving forward, but it's still, you looked at it right, this was their split to get everything solidified, and they didn't get everything solidified.
Well, they've not had it all solidified because the roster changes. When you get roster changes consistently, it makes it very difficult to get the chemistry together.
Is it still going to happen? Right? I mean,
who knows?
They didn't solidify it at all. Like this, they needed to solidify it about, a couple weeks in, and they kept changing repeatedly.
I mean, the story for both these teams, for me at least, is the fact that the next split is the one that can get them to Worlds.
Yes.
So if they can get these issues out of the way this split, which they've had, and then move forward, they still have a shot. It's difficult, but it's a shot.
It's going to be really hard. I think COG it's going to be harder for.
Definitely.
They've only won the 2 games, so they face relegations, which means if they don't make the fall split, they have no chance of making it to Worlds.
So Cognitive Gaming, they're going to be up against it here. You can see them on your screen right now. Some of the highlights of the moments of their, their SPL so far.
Yeah, and we've seen them have good games. We've seen them go, late game with some of the top teams, with some of the top contenders, but they can never seem to close it out, and that seems to be their big weakness, is closing out their wins when they have a strong early lead.
But that's one of the hardest things to do in a game of Smite as well,
really
because you don't really get as much chance to see, who's going to go which way in that. But where did the community go, and where did we go?
I went eager.
We all went eager. The community went eager. That's fans for you as well, as did all the analysts. We all expect eager to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, eager is clearly the better team here. And even with their roster swap with Polar Bear Mike and Aurora, they seem to be more consistent. Polar Bear Mike was, I think, a nice switch over. And it also brought a more Shadow Q-like player, I would say. That was the big talking point when Aurora came in and Dare to Care. These players are very aggressive supports. But Zapman is very aggressive as well. When two people are aggressive, sometimes it doesn't work out, especially if you get behind early.
Well, it worked in the Challenger Cup for them, but maybe, with Polar Bear Mike's transition, it'll work out for them. Everyone's voted eager, though. I don't see it going any other way, really, after seeing the performances that eager have put out. I mean, they've taken games off big teams.
Cloud9 most notably. And, yeah, that was the thing. Like, eager, this was kind of their, are we the best? Or can we compete with the best? And they haven't really proven it. They've only taken one game off of Cloud9, one game off a top team. Then they kind of beat all the lesser teams and all the teams that I'd say were at the middle of the pack. So they really need to expand upon their Cloud9 win, I think, moving forward here. And I think winning these 2 games against COG, having an even record, and then going forward with the fall split, I think that's going to be
that's what solidifies them for the fall split. That's what you're aiming for, really, as an eager fan here. Hope they do very, very well against Cognitive this time round and see exactly how they can perform and make sure they can get... They'd like a really strong win here as well. They don't want to just like a semi like easy stroll in the park when they want to dominate this game.
So another thing too is I was looking at the picks that both these teams run, and they actually both really like Neith. Both teams have picked this god 6 times. However, with their starting roster, meaning not Kabam and Zapman instead, they've only won, Eager has only won 1 game with Neith. It's not a good record, but COG as well, both of their wins actually came off Neith. So it's kind of interesting. Both these teams prefer Neith, but don't have the best track record.
But do you really think Neith is going to be the be-all and end-all of how the game would go? Say, for example, Cognitive get their Neith, do you reckon they'll win? Or if Eager take Neith, will they lose?
That's the thing, right? Both of them prefer Neith, but neither of them have winning records with the god. It seems like they're both prioritizing it because we saw it at the beginning of the split where this new beta came forth with Neith can be played mid, solo. We've seen Guardians.
But things have changed since then. Things have changed since then. The flex pick of Neith isn't as strong as it once was. We've seen the changes to the attack speed on the Hunters as well, which is starting to see them fall back into a sort of normal rhythm of just being played in the Hunter role mainly.
That's the thing. I don't think it's that strong, but they both might continue to prioritize it. And I think picking Neith early could be detrimental to both teams.
We'll see what the composition's going to be, because I'd like to see what Dare to Care chooses as well. But what we do have coming for you other than Thursday today, tomorrow, we're going to have a fantastic event. It is the charity stream.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the charity stream, but last time there was people eating hot peppers. There's people eating... You ate cat food?
I get to drink milkshakes.
Yeah, the Hinduman shake is coming tomorrow, and that's going to be something else.
Yes, the Hinduman shake, because it's not really been announced that one yet, is they're going to put stuff in a blender. But you guys get to, donate for, and I get to fill my belly.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, it's going to be the same thing as it was this last charity stream at the Spring Fling. It's only going to be 1 day, though, not 2 days. You're going to be able to donate to the Red Cross.
That's right.
Additionally...
We
have the Hinduman shake, right?
We're going to have 1v1s with the pros placing off against each other. Hi-Rez versus pros once again. Maybe DM will actually live through one of those games. Who knows? Oh, you can hear him in the background crying.
He's over there. He's getting ready.
He's already getting ready to get pooped on one more time.
Oh, man.
Well, guys, that's it from us over at the analyst desk here. We're going to be heading over to the casters for Game 1 today of Epsilon versus Team Dignitas. And our host, F.DM, and a special casting guest, Mr. Weekend.